Taking care of loved ones as they age is part of life, but sometimes circumstances force people to jump into a caregiving position much sooner than anticipated. Now, Stephanie is only 24 years old, but her life has come to a screeching halt because of her father's illness. Now, we decided to see for ourselves what she was dealing with, so we sent our good friend, Dr. Freda Lewis Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer, to Stephanie's. Take a look.
How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
So Stephanie, tell me a little bit about, first of all, what happened to your dad.
My dad had a massive stroke, which left him completely paralyzed on the left side. He also suffers with a seizure disorder.
So walk me through what a day of taking care of your dad's like.
I wake him up. Good morning. I have to physically get him out of bed, get him dressed, and I have to transfer him a second time onto the stair lift. Once he's downstairs, I wheel him into the kitchen, and with his food, he gets his pills. He takes roughly 15 pills throughout the day. I bring him into the living room. He'll sit in his recliner, take a step.
I got it.
He can watch TV or he'll take a nap.
So why don't you let me help you today with some of your caregiving?
Sure, sounds good. We can do my dad's physical therapy next.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and then turn. Good. Now look up. Can you see this tassel? Can you touch it? Good. Do you want to take a break and sit?
No, I'm going to stand up another minute, maybe.
So Stephanie, how does it feel to watch your dad try and succeed with the steps that you are helping him make with PT?
I couldn't be more proud of him because it's been 3 years, he hasn't walked, and I'm able to see him stand on his own.
So it sounds as though you're really the grown-up in the house.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're missing out?
I feel like I missed a lot of the college life and having freedoms to go out and do what I want. It's been a real struggle. I've become his mom, he's been my child, when he used to be my dad and I was his kid. One of the things I wanted to know is, how do I approach people for help?
Guilt is really a problem for caregivers. They feel that they have to be there 24/7. In terms of your daily tasks, like can someone deliver medication to the house, or can you order groceries online and have them delivered? It's just to cut down on some of the chores. You shouldn't feel guilty about taking time for yourself because you have to be in the best health for all of the people who are depending on you. It was really a privilege and it was so great. Oh, thank you so much. And it was so great to meet your daughter.
Well, Dr. Freda is here along with Stephanie, who was able to get a little break and is joining us in the audience. So welcome. And, you know, talk about this a little. How many young adults nationwide are in a caregiving situation like Stephanie?
I think this is going to surprise everyone. A study showed that between 3.5 and 5.5 million young people between the ages of 18 and 25 are providing care. And that's an old study, about 10 years old, so that number may be up now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Stephanie, what's been the biggest challenge for you as a young caregiver? I mean, you talked about what you think you've missed, but what's been your biggest challenge?
I would say physically moving my dad, because he is a big guy and I'm nearly not his size. So taking him from point A to B and moving him from wheelchair to chair to his bed is just a lot of physical work.
Some of the real issues for young caregivers is kind of making time for yourself on the one hand and then managing stress on the other hand. And stress is a really big deal, both the physical stress that Stephanie described and also the psychological stress. And caregivers are at risk as a result of that for conditions like heart disease, diabetes, depression, and anxiety. But I want to mention it really isn't all bad news. A study suggests that young caregivers are actually better at resilience, they have more resilience, and they're better problem solvers. And Stephanie exemplified that by graduating from college while she was juggling the care for her father with honors.
Yeah.
So.
And is this something that, I mean, this took a lot of management, right?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. My dad had it when I first transferred into college, his stroke. So there's a lot of managing from schoolwork to homework and final grades and exams and such.
Yeah. We talked about this at the top, but one of the things that's so important is you have to realize it is not selfish to take care of yourself, because I always tell people you cannot give away what you don't have. And if you burn your candle at both ends, you don't take care of yourself, then you don't have as much to give to him. And that means you got to make appointments. You've got to stay healthy, which means you've got to eat right. You got to exercise. You got to set time aside for yourself. And if you feel guilty when you do that, then you're like, oh, I'm cheating them. And that's not true. If you take time to be with friends, if you accept help from the church or the neighbors or friends, where you let somebody else step in and you go out and get your batteries charged back up, and then you come back in with a whole fresh perspective, makes a huge difference.
It really does. And that's really a challenge. You know, finding resources and getting help is really a challenge, especially for young caregivers. There are national organizations that have resources and information that might be helpful. The American Association of Caregiving Youth and the National Alliance for Caregiving are two national organizations that have lots of resources and may provide some help as well. And then, of course, we have some information on caregiving on gethealthystayhealthy.com.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all this. I want to thank my guest today, especially Dr. Freda Lewis Hall. For more information on today's show, you can visit drphil.com and take time to go to gethealthystayhealthy.com. It's like Wonderland. I love it there.